What if I told you there's a monster alive today that hunted alongside the very first dinosaurs? A creature that watched, completely unfazed, as a 6-mile-wide asteroid turned the world to fire and ash, and then, when the smoke cleared, it just went back to swimming. You don't have to imagine it. You've seen it. This is the crocodile. When we use the term living fossil, we usually mean an animal that just looks ancient, like a coelacanth or a horseshoe crab. But the crocodilian order, which includes crocodiles, alligators, caimans, and gharials, is something else entirely. They are a masterclass in evolutionary design. A biological blueprint so brutally effective, so ruthlessly optimized, that it has barely needed a significant update in over 200 million years. While dinosaurs rose to dominate the planet and were then wiped from existence, while mammals evolved from tiny, scurrying shadows into the masters of the Cenozoic, these armored assassins just kept going. But here's the weirdest part. It's not that they couldn't change. It's that they didn't have to. Their design is so successful that evolution essentially said, good enough. No notes. How does an animal achieve this level of evolutionary perfection? How did they survive multiple mass extinctions, including the one that annihilated the dinosaurs? And what bizarre experiments did their family tree try and fail along the way? Today on Weird Animal Evolution, we are decoding the ultimate survivor. To understand the crocodile, you have to forget what you think a crocodile is. Forget the log with teeth lurking in the river. We have to rewind the clock. Way back. We're in the late Triassic period. The first dinosaurs are just appearing, but they're small, lightweight, and definitely not at the top of the food chain. That job belonged to the ancestors of crocodiles, the Crurotarsi, or Pseudotsuchians. And this is where the story gets truly bizarre. Because back then, crocodiles weren't just crocodiles. Evolution was using their basic blueprint to run a series of wild, terrifying experiments. Forget the belly-dragging crawl. Meet the relatives. Some, like Postosuchus, were terrifying terrestrial hunters that walked on 2 legs. They were the T-Rex before T-Rex ever existed, the apex predators of their world. Other groups decided the land was overrated and took to the open ocean. These were the Thalattosutians. They completely abandoned the land, evolving flippers instead of feet and a powerful shark-like tail fin. They were fully marine sea crocodiles, hunting giant squid and large fish, giving birth to live young in the water. And perhaps the weirdest of all, the crocodile family even experimented with vegetarianism. This is Simosuchus, a small pug-nosed croc from Madagascar. Its bizarre, clove-shaped teeth weren't for tearing flesh. They were for chewing plants. It was a small, armored, herbivorous croc. There were crocs that galloped across the plains, crocs that dug burrows like badgers, and, of course, the true giants. We're talking about monsters like Sarcosuchus and Dinosuchus, 40-foot-long Goliaths that weighed as much as a city bus. Their prey, dinosaurs. They were specialized dinosaur killers lurking in Cretaceous rivers, doing to T-Rex relatives what modern crocs do to wildebeest. For over 150 million years, the crocodilian line was one of the most diverse, dominant, and bizarre groups of animals on the planet. So what happened? Why did all this incredible, weird diversity vanish, leaving us with only the 26 species of semi-aquatic ambush predators we know today? The answer is a paradox. All that wild experimentation failed. 66 million years ago, the universe threw the ultimate test at planet Earth. This was the KPG mass extinction, the Great Filter. In a geological instant, the reign of the dinosaurs was over. The massive plant eaters starved first. Then, the giant carnivores that hunted them. In the oceans, the plankton died, and the entire marine food web collapsed, taking the giant sea-crocs with it. All those bizarre, specialized crocodile experiments, the sprinters, the swimmers, the plant eaters were evolutionary dead ends. They were too big, too specialized, or too dependent on a food source that was now gone. But one design did survive, the one that was hiding in plain sight, the semi-aquatic generalist. the creature that had spent millions of years perfecting the art of doing very little. The modern crocodilian blueprint wasn't just good at surviving. It was a masterpiece of resilience. And it's all thanks to a suite of biological hacks that are, frankly, bizarre. The first, and most important, is their lazy superpower, ectothermy. Being cold-blooded is their secret weapon. A 300-pound leopard needs to eat every few days. A 300-pound crocodile. It can get by on one good meal every few months. Some large crocs have been documented surviving for over a year without a single bite. When the asteroid blotted out the sun and the food chain collapsed, warm-blooded dinosaurs starved to death in weeks. The crocodiles just waited. They hunkered down in the mud of the rivers, which act as massive heat sinks, protecting them from the fires, and simply waited for the world to come back. Their metabolism is the ultimate survivalist's bunker. But don't you dare call them primitive, because their bodies hide a piece of biological engineering that is ridiculously advanced. I'm talking about their heart. On the surface, a crocodile's heart is four-chambered, just like a bird's or a mammal's. This is incredibly efficient for separating oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. But crocs have a weird addition. It's a special valve system, sometimes called the foramen of Penisod, allows them to manually override their own circulatory system. When they're hunting, they can pump blood just like us, supercharging their muscles with oxygen for that terrifying, explosive burst of speed. But when they're underwater, holding their breath, this is the amazing part, digesting a big meal, they can flip a switch. The heart deliberately shunts CO2-rich, acidic blood to the stomach. Why? This biological hack supersecretes gastric acid, making their stomach acid the most powerful in the animal kingdom. It allows them to digest everything: bone, hooves, antlers. Nothing is wasted. It's a part-time warm-blooded heart and a part-time reptilian survival heart, all in one. But to use that heart, they need to catch something. And they do that with a sensory system that borders on science fiction. Look at these little black dots. They aren't freckles. They are an organ you and I don't have. Dermal pressure receptors. Think of them as thousands of tiny, hypersensitive motion detectors. These receptors are connected directly to their massive trigeminal nerve, and they are so sensitive they can detect a single drop of water hitting the surface from yards away. They are more sensitive than a human fingertip. When a crocodile submerges, it closes its ears, it closes its nostrils, and it closes its transparent third eyelid. It is deaf and blind in the conventional sense, but it's not. It has created a sensory web. It isn't looking for you. It's feeling the shape of the water. It can feel your footsteps on the bank through the vibrations in the water. It can feel the exact moment you lean down to drink. And when that moment comes, it unleashes its single greatest evolutionary achievement: the bite. The bite force of a saltwater crocodile is the most powerful of any living animal, and it's not even close. We've measured it at over 3,700 pounds per square inch. A lion, about 1,000. You're biting into that apple with about 150. A T-Rex is the only thing we know of that bit harder. But here is the biological weirdness. It's not a balanced system. All that monstrous power is dedicated to one single direction: closing. The muscles that open a crocodile's jaw are so pathetically weak. You or I could easily hold a 15-foot giant's mouth shut with our bare hands. Though, for the record, this is a terrible idea. Evolution didn't care about opening. It's an ambush predator. It doesn't chew. It just needs a biological hydraulic press, a trap. And then there's the death roll. This isn't just a brutal way to kill. It's a biomechanical solution to a problem. A crocodile's teeth are shaped like a cone. They are brilliant for gripping, but useless for slicing or chewing. So, how do you eat something as big as a zebra? You can't, not in one piece. The death roll is the answer. The crocodile clamps down with that 3,700 psi bite, gripping the flesh. Then, it uses its powerful tail and body to spin, using the full torque of its 2,000-pound frame. It doesn't cut the meat off. It twists it off, using physics to tear limbs from sockets. It's a solution that is both gruesome and undeniably, chillingly brilliant. A perfect, simple, brutal machine. So, when you look at a crocodile, you are not looking at a primitive relic. You are looking at a master of survival. A creature that watched the continents themselves break apart. A creature whose ancestors included bipedal land giants and streamlined ocean hunters. You are looking at a design so powerful, so efficient, that it survived the apocalypse that killed the dinosaurs. And it did it by being lazy, by having a trick heart, and by possessing a bite that would make a T-Rex proud. They are not living fossils. They are living victors. They are a 200-million-year-old dynasty that never, ever fell. They are a chilling reminder that sometimes evolution's weirdest trick is to find perfection, and then stop. Thanks for watching Weird Animal Evolution. The crocodilians are the ultimate survivors, but what ancient creature do you think has the weirdest survival story? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're passionate about unbelievable evolutionary stories just like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe to Weird Animal Evolution, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any bizarre creatures in our next video. Thanks, and see you next time.